Hello, welcome to the LCS recap. I'm your host, Johnny Esports, to talk about everything that happened in Week 9 of the League of Legends Championship Series. We're going to go over the week and talk about the results, and then look at the tier lists, and go from there. We're going to split up this episode a little bit, because I want to do a season review and then a playoff preview show, so be ready for that in the future, but today we're just going to talk Week 9, and let's get into it. Alright, so here are our standings for today. For the end of the season, Team Liquid remains on top because they have the tiebreaker over Cloud9. So the 14-4 record, they did lose both those games. We'll get a little bit into that in a little bit, but they do sit at 14-4. That does leave them with the first place, but so is Cloud9 also at 14-4. But again, the tiebreaker does separate Cloud9 and Team Liquid there, as Team Liquid did at least beat Cloud9 in their head-to-head. But Cloud9 did win 2 games in a row against FlyQuest and Clutch Gaming. Sitting solidly in the number 3 spot is Team Solo Mid with a 13-5 record, have now beat Clutch Gaming and Team Liquid, and, might be the top team in the LCS. We'll see the playoffs. This makes the playoffs so exciting, but it doesn't end there with the excitement. The next 2 teams, the 4th and 5th place teams at 9-9 records, are Golden Guardians and FlyQuest. They got to play themselves a best of 2 because of how that worked out. They were tied. They had a tied head-to-head, so they got to play a tiebreaker game. Anyway, Cloud9 lost their regular season games versus Cloud9 and Golden Guardians, which led to that tiebreaker game, but then FlyQuest won the tiebreaker game to keep themselves in 4th. So that's insane. Where Golden Guardians, though, to get there, they beat Optic and they beat FlyQuest, as mentioned, to get to that 99 record, and then lost the tiebreaker game, but they jumped to 5th and solidly put themselves in that playoff spot. So great end of the split for Golden Guardians, and now they're in the playoffs, and that sets up such a hype playoff matchup between these 2 teams. Again, wait till tomorrow for me to start talking about what I think about the playoffs, but in general, just hype and excitement. And then the team I thought was going to make it, and they somehow did it. I was like, I believe it's going to happen. It happened slightly differently, but it was great anyway. Echo Fox beat Team Liquid and Counter Logic Gaming to go to 8-10 and sit in that final playoff spot. But again, that aforementioned Counter Logic Gaming, they lost the game they needed to win. They beat 100 Thieves, which I thought maybe they would accidentally drop that one, but then beat CLG. They do lose to Echo Fox, so that takes them out of the playoffs. Same with Optic Gaming. They lost to Golden Guardians. That put them out of the running right away, and then they won against 100 Thieves, but that was in garbage time, so it didn't really matter. Meanwhile, Clutch Gaming, they tried out new roster stuff. Didn't work. They lose to Team Solo Mid and Cloud9. That's a rough end to the season for Clutch Gaming, but yeah, they weren't really good all year. There was a glimpse where they looked okay, but they were kind of just beating teams struggling. And Clutch has got potentially going to make some changes. We'll talk about that in a future episode. 100 Thieves, 4-14. They tried new stuff. Yeah, they lose to CLG and Optic, and that's that. So, back by popular demand, by request, is a results screen from game to game. People have been asking about that in the comments on Reddit or on the YouTube channel itself. So do know if you have any feedback to want to change any bit of format of the show. I do listen. I do take that to heart. And the screen's back because some people went, "Oh, I didn't see the game, so I would like to kind of go over them one by one instead of just kind of blanketly going them over in the standings." So here we are. Let's go over them. One thing I do want to note, I guess Riot has a flex scheduling because this is the schedule as it was as I saw it, and then they kind of game order around, so I apologize this is not in the order of they were actually played, but I think they just, to make things interesting, flip the order of when games will be played. So anyway, we'll go over my picks here. Did go 7-3 for the week, 58-32 on the season, which is pretty solid. I think you got to go 54 wins by default and got to be somewhere above that to be decent at picking games, and I guess means I'm a little above decent, whatever. Cloud9 again beat FlyQuest in that game. Cloud9 just look good. They're primed and ready for playoffs, and I'm excited for them to go there. But the game I want to talk about is Team Liquid versus Echo Fox, where Echo Fox is working Team Liquid across the map. So they lose that one. Of course, I picked Team Liquid to win it, but they lose that one, and Echo Fox set themselves up so nicely from there on out. That was a beautiful game, and Rush is back, baby. Rush, the MVP form Rush, and it's very exciting to see. The Golden Guardians vs. Optic matchup was a very, very important one. It's one that basically knocked Optic out of the standings, knocked their ability to make the playoffs, and set Golden Guardians up to play that 4th, 5th tiebreaker. So good for Golden Guardians to win that one. Team Solo Mid crushed Clutch. not too much to say there. I did think CLG, okay, in the most CLG fashion, the most counter logic fashion, I thought 100 Thieves, they would lose the 100 Thieves, and then set up a must win against Echo Fox the next day. What happened was they won against 100 Thieves, which was, you know, good for them, but with Echo Fox also winning, it still set up that must win on the next day. So that's that. CLG gotta make some small changes, I think. I'm gonna talk more about this in my season review, but again, I just think some of these lower end teams just need better top laners, because it's going to improve how good the top laners are throughout the league. The best top laners are just on the best teams. And I'm saying that with Someday being terrible in Hom Thieves. I'm saying with Huni not playing super great on Clutch. Like, that's with those guys underperforming, and then other teams like Optic and CLG, they just don't have super great top laners, and they end up being in the bottom, whereas I think, you know, Licorice and Broken Blades really stepped up, and I think Team Liquid is about the exception with Impact, but still, Impact does do some solid work. He played Jace and smacked people throughout most of the season, and then, again, I should save this for tomorrow. I'm just getting too excited talking about it. Let me save that stuff for tomorrow. Day 2. Cloud9 beat Clutch. That's what happened. Optic versus 100 Thieves. Optic beat them in a game that didn't matter. Fun. Something to note on Cloud9, they did play their Academy roster against Clutch Gaming just to give them a shot, give them some LCS stage time, and they look great. They look like they'd be better than half the teams in the LCS currently, which is like insane. So look to see a bunch of those Academy guys in the LCS coming up. That would be really, really exciting. So yeah, very, very important match between Echo Fox and CLG. This was win and you're in, and win and Echo Fox got in. So congratulations to Echo Fox for making the playoffs there. Being sub 500 and making playoffs is just a weird thing, but hey, you did it. Again, FlyQuest lose to Golden Guardians in this match, and it looked like, hey, Golden Guardians might be the team. Might be that team that's just like stepped up and suddenly is this top 4 team. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? And then the big grudge match, Team Solo Mid and Team Liquid. Of course, it didn't mean anything much in the standings, but it was a statement game for Team Solo Mid as they came in, they crushed down Team Liquid, and it was very, very impressive. And then not on the screen, but again, they had the tiebreaker between Golden Guardians and FlyQuest, and it set it up. FlyQuest won that one. It's insane. It just sets up for a beautiful best of 5 between those two teams. But again, I gotta save some of that talk for a future episode because I want to talk about that. Moving on to the tier list. Last week it was this. This week it stays exactly the same because that's exactly how the playoffs shake up. There is, again, arguments for Team Solo Mid to be moving up here, and you would think after an 0-2 week I'd maybe move Team Liquid down. But honestly, Team Liquid lost, with the exception of their first TSM loss. All their losses were in garbage time. And I know I was talking to people on Reddit, and I know a lot of people are like, we got to give way more credit to these other teams, and maybe Team Liquid is way more weak than we think they are because they're losing these games at the end here. But like honestly, again, it's best of ones in garbage time. When it was best of ones when all games mattered, they just won every game. With the exception, they lost once to TSM, but they won every other game when games mattered. They still end up in first place. They lost those 3 games recently. They lost these 2 games, and they're still in first place. So there is, like, I'm not saying there's no room for concern, and this might actually be better for the players because they're not going into the playoffs assuming, hey, we're gods, we're just gonna stomp. They're going into the playoffs going, hey, we have weaknesses, and we should probably pay attention to Impact a little bit at top lane because he can get picked on a little bit. You know, again, I said top lane has been a huge crutch for all these top teams, but I think Impact actually was playing really good at the beginning of the season and just is playing a little bit worse / is getting picked on specifically by other teams. So that all being said, I still leave Team Liquid at top because I think in the grand scheme of the whole season, they could have they could have lost these games in the middle of the season and maybe I bring them down. But again, I feel like they just lost these in garbage time. And they can prove they can win best of 5s because you know what? They've won the last 2 championships. They can do it again. And right now they're doing it in a strong position. And, you know, like, yeah, lost last 2 games. They're still 14-4. Man, Cloud9's 14-4. They just lost their games at different times. In a way, they lost their games when they mattered more. Theoretically mattered more. So, anyway, that all, Team Solo Mid might actually be the best team. But that's why I'm so excited for these playoffs. I'm so excited for these playoffs. FlyQuest and Golden Guardians sit right there. Again, those are basically interchangeable in their spots right now. It's going to come down to who kind of wins that playoff series, and I'm so excited that they're going to be playing each other. And, you know, Echo Fox, they earned that last spot. I thought they would. A little bit, a slightly different path than what I predicted for them to get there, but they got there. Echo Fox looked real good, and Team Solo Mid should pay attention, because it's not a for sure that they're going to win that. Then everyone else, Counter Logic Gaming, it's a heartbreaker. They came down to one game for them to make the playoffs, and they needed to win it, and they couldn't do it. You look back to those other losses, you look back to those times they subbed in their subs, and those didn't really work super well. 0-4 with their subs in. If those subs could have pulled off one game, or maybe in one of those games you didn't sub in people, maybe they're in the playoffs right now, and it's a bit of a different story. But no, what? Honestly, a lot of growth for CLG, and again, top lane. Just think about improving your top lane. All respect to Darshan, though. I like the guy. I like his personality so much, but just not good enough to make playoffs in the LCS, unfortunately. Again, same thing with Optic Gaming. Man, it would be great to see Crown in the playoffs. It would be great to see this bot lane, who have been starting to come together a little bit, but I just think they just didn't have what it took at the top lane, and maybe they make a trade with one of their junglers for someone to get a top laner. Hey, I think 100 Thieves, you know, could probably improve in jungle. But again, I should see saving this for a future show, but I'm just too excited to talk about it. But they all sit there. Clutch Gaming sit at the bottom. They got a lot of work to do. Same with 100 Thieves. All these teams got some work to do in the offseason, and it'll be very exciting to see what they do and change up there in their bottom tier. Alright, that's it for the LCS recap today. You got a little bit of a preview of what I'm going to talk about in the season review, and then into my playoff preview episode coming up. So again, tune in tomorrow for the season review, and then what I think some teams should do in the off season, you know, the teams that aren't going to be in the playoffs, and then we'll go into some playoff stuff the next day as well. That is everything. If you enjoyed any of this stuff, do consider liking this video or subscribing right there, as well as check out the different social media platforms right there. And the last video you can watch there in case you missed that. I enjoyed doing this. I hope you did. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think TSM should be in my top tier? Should I really be moving Team Liquid down, or even Cloud9 down? Whatever you think, let me know. We'll see. Alright, see you next time.